Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So, I'd like to talk to you today about ETHI from Defiance. And this is their Ethereum version of their leveraged ETFs that are targeting 150% to 200% daily performance of the underlying. So when we go over ETFs like this, the first thing we should probably do is reevaluate why we like this underlying in the first place, because this is leveraged. So Ethereum is an altcoin. It's the second biggest after Bitcoin. And so, when I was first getting into buying crypto, I was researching, is Bitcoin better? Is Ethereum better? Ethereum has more real world application to it, like utility is the word that they use. So, Ethereum has more utility in it, because it's not as mature as Bitcoin. It has more volatility, it has more room to grow. So for those reasons, Ethereum's not going away, which is great, but it also has really strong potential to not ever really beat Bitcoin. But when we're doing income investing, we really do want high volatility and for it to stay within the Bollinger Band of whatever it's doing. So just like people buy gold and then they look for silver, Ethereum is the silver compared to gold, which is Bitcoin. And usually what happens with the Bitcoin cycle is that Bitcoin goes on its big run, and then Ethereum and the other altcoins, it's altcoin season. So that's why we do invest in Ethereum. I was very sad to see my Ethereum. I had to sell it all because for the third attempt of selling my condo, Ethereum was going on a run. I was like, I don't know, it's not always a good time to sell your crypto, it's never a good time to sell crypto, but I thought I was only going to have to pay $23,000 to sell my condo, and I just magically happened to have that amount of Ethereum. So I sold that Ethereum. So I had exactly enough to pay my condo, but then the mortgage company wouldn't grant a mortgage to my buyer, and that sale fell through. And so I had a bunch of money, and that's why I was in Misty for such a long time, because I sold Ethereum. What else am I going to do with this money? I'm going to put into something crypto related. So that's where my money was seeded for the first place. Anyways, what's up with this Ethereum? So like we said before, they're targeting 150% or 200%. They don't have to meet this target. It's just a goal of theirs for the day. So if something really wonky happens in the market, they may have less returns, they might have more returns. It just depends on how Ethereum winds up acting through the day. They achieve that through swap agreements and other derivatives. And so it's just a synthetic position. And then they do call credit spreads, which are good because it doesn't completely cap your upside. So if there is a run over a certain amount, you'll still lag on the upside, but it won't be capped as hard as just a plain cover call ETF. So that's good. And then on the downside, if it's a sharp downturn, you might wind up with, and basically you outperform the underlying temporarily because you were able to get premiums you close out the call spread and you put it at a lower price. But in a sideways market and a downwards market, that's where these lose their luster and they won't do as well. And because this is leveraged, you'll feel it twice as much when they're not doing as well. So hopefully that covered most of like why we would want to do this. And so yeah, so they have the iShares Ethereum swap Clear Street and a cover call in ETHI. And they've had 3 distributions. Usually the first distribution you can't really trust because it's not always for the just that time period. It can be like a month and a half if it's a month paying ETF, or it could be a 2 months delay. So it says that it has a 75% distribution rate, and this does pay every weekly. It declares on Tuesday, and I just put it locally in YieldMight. So the next time I do a declaration, it should be on YieldMight, and I will record these distributions, and it should exist, which is always nice. So then if we go to my studio, thank you so much to the 3,924 of you who have decided that my channel is interesting enough to be subscribed to. I do really appreciate you all. And I would like to say a special thanks to my members for making their bad financial decisions together with me. So thank you, Scott Behringer, Michael Holliday, Motivation Boost, Shane O'Mac, Bill Bryant, Patriot Spalding, BGP Automotive, In My Opinion, Jetta, and Omega Werewolf X. You all are amazing. I do appreciate you. And I'm going to pass a question off to you all. Do you invest in these Ethereum ETFs, or do you prefer doing like blocks or an LFGY? And I will talk to you all later. Bye.